I asked all of you on my Instagram to send me some of your aesthetics questions so we could answer as many as possible. I've got them all here. Answer as many as possible, and any other questions you might have regarding aesthetics, because it might help you and it also might help someone else. So let's get to it. Some brutally honest opinions, all my advice. Let's crack it into one video. Let's do it. Okay, so first question. If I get my lips done by one practitioner, can I go to a different one after? Theoretically, yes, you can switch practitioners. However, it isn't massively advised if you can help it. So if you get your lips done in January by one practitioner, you've got to leave it an absolute minimum 3 months before going elsewhere, and ideally stick to the same filler if you can. So make sure you always find out what filler you've had, so if you do go elsewhere, you can try and get them to use the same filler, because if you do mix fillers, it can be a little bit difficult. So if you have Revelax in January and you want to go to another practitioner, just pop them a message saying, is it okay if I have Revelax? They'll usually order that in. Sometimes there might be a price difference, but a lot of the time there won't be. Next question. For lip fillers, is there any way at all to take that pain away? I had it done once and cried. Fillers shouldn't be that bad that you're sat there crying. Sometimes naturally our eyes will water a little bit, but it doesn't mean we're crying. It's just a natural body response to being jabbed with a needle. So in every clinic you should be offered numbing cream, and this should take quite a lot of the pain away. In here you can always turn up a little bit earlier, just let me know and you can numb for as long as you want beforehand. Some places actually offer you a dental block, which is basically what you have the lidocaine in your mouth when you get your teeth pulled. You can have that done at an extra cost. However, numbing cream should usually do the trick to help with the pain, but you should never be in so much pain that you are physically in tears. What would you advise for wrinkles, filler or Botox? Always Botox. Unless you've got a medical condition or any contraindication that stops you from having Botox, then I would always go for that. If it is wrinkles on the forehead, the frown lines, the crow's feet, anything like that, I always go for Botox. I don't believe that you should be putting filler in the upper third of your face. So if you've got any creases around here, I don't believe in putting filler in there because I think it's ridiculously dangerous. But if you've got wrinkles, 99.9% of the time, Botox. What do you think is best for dark circles under the eyes? So if you've got a hollow under eye and you do not have water retention, then I'd go for tear trough filler. If, however, you do suffer from any of that, or you just want to have a little bit of brightness underneath there without filler, then I'd go for the likes of looming eyes. I would not recommend 70 hyaluronate underneath the eyes, because a couple of studies have come out that the molecular weight of it is a bit too heavy for underneath the eye. It can cause bubbling, it can cause balls of lumps of the skin booster underneath the eye. So I personally wouldn't recommend 70 hyaluronate underneath the eye. I'd always stick to looming eyes personally. Do you have to be a nurse to do aesthetics? No, absolutely not. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in aesthetics, that the only way to be a good aesthetics practitioner, or the only way to be an aesthetics practitioner, is you must be a nurse. That is not the case whatsoever. So the only difference between a medic and a non-medic is that if something goes wrong, a nurse can essentially prescribe you the antibiotics or the steroids, whereas with myself or any other non-medics, we work very, very closely with GPs, consultants, and they do the prescribing for us. So say, for example, you have any sort of reaction to the filler, you may need a course of steroids. That nurse can prescribe that. I would get the doctor that I work with to prescribe it. Other than that, the anatomy and physiology qualifications are exactly the same. The aesthetics training is exactly the same. I personally find that aesthetics practitioners that are non-medics have a bit more of an art to them. They have a bit more kind of passion in a way, but then again, I know some medics that do fantastic work. I also know medics that do absolutely shit work. I know aesthetics practitioners that are non-medics that do fantastic work, and then I also know some that aren't as good. So always go off reviews, always go off anything like that, but no, you don't have to be a nurse to do aesthetics, and it doesn't really make a difference if you are a nurse or not. Are you able to advise on what procedures you think someone needs if they aren't sure or they come to you not knowing what they want? So no, I can't automatically look at you and go, right, you need your jaw doing, you need your chin doing. I personally do your nose as well, because first of all, that's really rude. Second of all, that's kind of coaxing someone into a treatment. The way I go about it is I say to someone, right, what concerns you? What features do you not like, and what sort of outcome would you like? Then I can advise a course of treatment considering what they said. But I don't think that any practitioner should turn around and go, oh, I think you need your under eyes doing, or I think you need your lips doing, because then that kind of makes people feel a bit insecure and stuff like that. I don't think we should be doing that. I think we should be taking what people say and giving them the correct information to help them make educated choices. So no, if you come to me and say, right, what do I need doing? I can't answer that. I have to kind of ask you what your concerns are and what kind of outcome you want, and then we'll go from there. Would you recommend doing the job? It's a backup. I've just failed all my exams. So I wouldn't say I recommend it as a backup. I personally think that if you're doing a job like this, you need to put your bloody heart and soul into it, because it is difficult, and a lot of people are doing it now, and it is becoming quite a saturated industry, I believe. But I think that it shouldn't just be a backup, it should be something that you wholeheartedly want to do, and it should be your plan A from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? I think that it costs a lot of money to do. Like, complete transparency, my first year I spent about 22 grand trying to get into this, and you've got to spend a shit ton of money to get into it. So I definitely wouldn't have it as a backup plan. I'd only do it if it's something you wholeheartedly can put a lot of money into, you can put your time, your effort, because it is a 24-hour job. I know a lot of people have worse jobs than I do and a lot more stressful jobs than I do, but like, you can't drink at weekends, you've got to be on call 24/7. So I only drink if I've got a couple of days off work. You can't go out on a Saturday night drinking, nothing like that, because if you've had clients on the Friday or the Saturday, you've got to be on call in case they need you, and you can't be injecting Sunday morning if you're hungover. So it's one of those that you've really got to put your heart and soul into, so don't ever have it as a backup plan. But yeah, only do it if it's what you really, really want to do. Would you recommend a lip flip before filler? My lip rolls under when I'm smiling. Yes. So if you are wanting to get filler, but you find that your top lip rolls under when you smile and it kind of turns in and you don't really see it, get a lip flip first, because if we put any sort of filler in that lip that disappears, it's going to end up rolling under, it's going to migrate. Do yourself a favour, just get the lip flip first. Can I get fillers while pregnant? Absolutely not. Do not get fillers while you're pregnant. It is not the most advisable thing ever, and it's not FDA approved either. So if you get fillers while you're pregnant, then obviously with any sort of filler there is a chance of an issue with blood flow, with anything like that. It wouldn't essentially harm the baby, but it would harm the mother. And if the mother's got an issue with any sort of blood flow caused by the filler, then it is endangering the baby. So personally, don't risk it. Don't risk it for yourself, don't risk it for your baby. Just wait until you've had the baby, then get your face done, girl. I've never had lip filler before. Would 0.5mm make a difference, and roughly how long would it last? So how long your filler lasts ranges on a massive amount of things, whether you go to the gym, whether you use sunbeds, anything like that. Your body might just break it down quicker than other people as well. So I always say, remember, your first few mil of filler will sink down quite quickly because it has to create a base layer. So if you get 0.5 of filler, it's actually going to go within a couple of weeks, but it doesn't disperse, it doesn't migrate, it just sinks to create that base layer. So essentially, yes, when you swell, it will look massive for the first few days. And then when it starts to go down, you will have to top it up. So 0.5 won't make a massive difference because you're going to have to build on that regardless. What is a treatment you would never offer and why? Personally, I'd never do bum filler. I'd never do BBL filler. Because of my own personal experience with it, the infection rate is ridiculously high. And there's just so much risk involved with it. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. I got really ill after I had it done, and I know that quite a lot of people that have been ill after having it, the chance of getting an infection, the chance of getting sepsis is ridiculously high. Also, breast filler, would not touch that with a barge pole, because obviously filler can lump, and if you get a lump in your boob, obviously you go and get it checked if you feel anything. However, then it overwhelms the NHS and the breast clinic. We've constantly happened to see girls that have had breast filler that have got lumps thinking that they're malignant, and they're not, they're just lumps of filler. So I personally wouldn't touch that with a barge pole either. Favourite brand of filler and why? So personally, I love EPTQ. I think that it's super smooth, really goes in nicely. Love Revelax. And it's a controversial one. I love Volafil. So Volafil is made by the same people that made Lumafil. Personally, not a massive fan of Lumafil anymore because the swell is massive, but I actually really love Volafil. I think the results from it are absolutely lovely. Same with EPTQ or FTQ, how some people pronounce it, and Revelax. They're my top three. Do you offer shadow classes? I want to come and watch you work for a day. So I do offer masterclasses, so especially for Russian lips, for facial contouring. If you are already trained in those and you've got your certificates, then I offer masterclasses so you can learn my little tips and tricks and stuff like that. And also soon I'll be doing actual teaching, getting my AET, getting everything sorted. And there are some exciting things in the pipeline with some of your other favourite aesthetics creators. That will be coming very, very soon. I'm excited for you guys to see because the team up is going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. And that is it. If anyone has any other questions, let me know, because I actually might do another one of these. I feel like they're really insightful, they're very helpful. And if it helps someone else to make informed and really good decisions on what they haven't done, then my work here is done.